Here we are in module number 2, and we are going to really look at the context of population health and the congruency with ethics, as well as diving into some of the content, the county health rankings and roadmaps model, HSHS services and the agencies that are available there, as well as the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. And we're going to be doing some of our experiential learning in this particular module along with our discussion board. So the discussion board is in week 1. You'll want to do your initial post by Wednesday, and then make sure that you have your follow-up post by the time that the discussion board closes, and then your experiential learning is due at the end of the module, actually the first day of our next module, to give you that little bit of extra leeway to complete the assignment. So with your experiential learning, you will actually submit in the assignment link, and this actually entails the details of your experiential learning hours, and for this one it will be 3 hours. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about that. What you're going to be doing is you're going to reach out to a community organization, because we're really looking at the continuum of care. So this may be something that is a supportive organization for those that you serve. Be very cognizant of where you choose or who you choose to speak with, that it's helpful to you in your practice. Who do you coordinate with, or who do many of your clients need to work with to elevate their health outcomes? Because this is a learning opportunity to start making those connections and start networking. So with that being said, you'll want to dive into your interview itself, and you want to make sure that you craft at least 5 questions, and those are the questions that you'll cover. And there may be an organic kind of evolution of the conversation, and that's perfectly fine. You may either do the interview face-to-face, or you may do this over the phone as well. So there are some key components that you need to include in your conversation, and really looking at the populations that they serve, the services that are provided, the organizational collaboration, how do they collaborate, who do they collaborate with, and gaps in services, maybe some unmet needs. And again, that's very critical to know what is available and what is not available that's needed, as well as those policies that impact or govern that organization, because sometimes that's a limiting factor in what they indeed can do and the services that they can provide. And with that being said, the ethical issues that are experienced by the organization, whether they can truly serve those and the needs of those who need to be served, and looking at those ethical factors that are involved in that may correlate or maybe contraindicated with some of the policies that are in place, and how that limits factors or facilitates factors as far as care delivery. So all of those things are that broad consideration that we must look at when we're looking at that continuum of care. So you will need to complete the attached form, and the form is right here for your experiential learning. So let me pull that over so you can see the form itself, and just an overview of the organization, the questions that you posed, and just really looking at your conversation as well as reflecting on the experience. So all those factors are really important as we're starting to evaluate that continuum of care and look at those key factors in the context of population health as far as ethics, and those factors that really do impact what kind of care we can indeed deliver, and what those needs are and what those gaps in needs are. So if you have any questions about the experiential learning, please do let me know. And with that being said, there are a number of resources within the module itself that will help you and provide context for you, and really looking at those competencies as far as ethics in the area of population health. So it's a different way of viewing those steadfast ethical concepts. And then we also have the Code of Ethics with interpretive statements as a resource right here for you. And this is a read-only, but you may use it as a resource and you may cite it as you're doing your work, and you may want to refer back to this as well. And here's some information on the County Health Rankings and Roadmaps model that will be helpful as you're doing your discussion board and really provide you some context as far as the how health is experienced. And it's very different from what we may conceptualize as healthcare providers, and looking at those factors that impact those health outcomes. So really, policies and programs and social factors really outweigh, so to speak, clinical care. And very often we think of healthcare as being clinical care, and then we're really focused on health behaviors, those end behaviors, when in actuality there are other factors that may actually impact one's ability to practice healthy behavior. So all of those are really important considerations as you move forward. And then I want you to really take a look at the Department of Health and Human Services, the resources that are available there, including the types of services that they fund. And again, this may be a funding source for one of your interviewees or someone that you choose to talk with, because this is where much of the funding comes for some of those social service organizations. And know that there are different agencies within HSHS, and now's the time to start understanding the hierarchy, so to speak, as far as what's available to our local organizations and at the state level and the national level as far as funding, and how that funding is disseminated amongst the populations. So please do look at these key links at HSHS. There is quite a bit of information, and there's so much more. This is actually one of those rabbit holes where you can get lost for hours looking at it. And the same holds true for the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Really look at, there is an infographic that dives into some of those social factors that impacts health delivery. So this infographic will be pertinent to you as you do your discussion board as well. So just know that there are tons and tons of resources out there. Again, these are resources that will help you through the activities in this module, and the Hastings Center has some really good information on ethics in the law. And also there's some information from the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy of Public Health Ethics. So again, there's some resources that are built here to help you to dive into some of the considerations for the module. And then into our module number 2, and just remember that you do access the discussions through the discussion link. All right, so that's the end of our presentation for right now.